Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to Your Stocks. I'm Pavitra. With me is Sonal, and Sonal, there is just no stopping this market. Almost 1% higher on the Nifty now. 19,156 is where we're at, and we've seen a big move in the banks as well right now, because that is sitting with an over 430 point kind of gain on the Nifty bank. A lot of them, the likes of IndusInd, HDFC Bank, all at the high point of the day. So no stopping the bulls for this market, and this week has already looked so good.
It has. It was also good because we had a holiday, right? So, of course, but jokes apart, it has been a great Friday for the bulls. We'll have to see whether there's some consolidation at these levels, because that's what some of the experts have been telling us. So 19,147 on the Nifty right now. But that's about the index. This is a show where we answer all your stock queries and get you answer from all our experts. So let's get them on the show now. Joining us today is Vaishali, Parekh, the head of tech research at Prabhudas Lilladher, and Shahina Mukadam, an independent market expert, to answer all your stock queries. Hey, Vaishali, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll also get Shahina in just a bit. But let's get to the first query now, because Shreya Gupta has written to us from New Delhi. She holds 40 shares of HDFC at 800 rupees a share and is asking, post the HDFC Bank HDFC merger, if she should buy more shares. But of course, important to note that HDFC shares will not be trading after the merger. There is a date which is indicated, which is 13th of July. More details are still required. But Vaishali, what's your take here? How should one go about with this merger that has taken place, especially on the technical side? Now, what are the charts looking like?
Very good afternoon, and thanks for having me on the show. Yes, it's the HDFC twins which is ruling the bank Nifty right now. So I would continue to stay bullish, but let's wait and watch post-merger what happens with the price. But for now, keep holding, because for HDFC Limited, I think this stock can go to 3,000 levels, and HDFC Bank, I'm looking at 1,800 to 2,000 levels.
Okay, got that. Vaishali, just come in on the market as well, right? Because it's just one record after another. We're almost at 19,150 now. How do you think this is looking just on a technical basis, and what are the kind of targets that you have on the Nifty and Nifty Bank? If you could help us with that.
So sure, for Nifty, if we sustain about 19,000 levels, we have our projected target of 19,200 to 19,800. So that is for the long-term horizon. So well, but one needs to be cautious because we are quite in the overbought. So 18,900 should be the near-term stop loss basis. And for Bank Nifty, we've just seen a breakout after a very long time. So 44,500 was the trigger for a new round of momentum, and that's what we are witnessing. So now I would be looking at a target of 45,200 to 45,500.
Okay, 45,200 to 45,500 on the Bank Nifty. Yes, it's coming out of its consolidation phase after a long time. But let's get to the next query now. Prashant Thakkar writes to us from Pune, holds 50 shares of LIC at the IPO price of 867 rupees per share, is making a loss right now on this holding. He asks if he will be able to see the price going to IPO levels, or should he move out and switch to some other stock. Vaishali, what do you suggest in terms of technicals? Are you expecting some upside movement on this one? It's at 631 right now, hasn't seen the IPO price yet.
So I would say he can take a little bit of a risk of averaging out at this level, because the stock has already got into the trending mode. And I think once it goes past 650 levels, in all likelihood, this could do 700 to 750. So at least to lower the cost, he can average it out at these levels.
Okay, average at these levels. What about some of the other insurance names? We've seen quite an up move in names like HDFC Life over the past month or so. Do you think anything else within the insurance space looks good, and would you recommend those?
So I think compared to that, SBI Life has underperformed. SBI Life would be a good pick at these levels. I would say that, well, the risk-reward ratio from here on is pretty favorable, because what I see on the chart, it's in the process, it continues to make higher bottom and higher highs. So I think 1250 would be the near-term support, and I would look at a target of around 1350, 1380. So SBI Life could be a new trading strategy for me.
Okay, SBI Life could be a trading strategy. In fact, Shahina Mukadam is also joining us now. She's an independent market expert. Shahina, thanks a lot for joining us on the show. For LIC, what is your take? Because it is still below the IPO price. Fundamentally, how is this stock looking?
I believe there is a upside going forward. Last quarter, fourth quarter numbers were very strong. and their AP growth was 12%. But going forward over the next 2 years, it's expected to improve almost 15% or growth over the next 2 years. And also, if you see their valuations have now started to get attractive. It's just 0.6 times FY24 EV. So I think there is still some upway left. So one can continue to hold, in my view, keep a stop loss of 600, but you can easily a target of 700.
Okay, that is on LIC. Shahina, we were just talking to Vaishali also about the rest of the, life insurance space. Is there anything else from that pack that you think looks ripe for an investment right now?
Well, SBI Life, as Vaishali said, I think in terms of is the most attractive. So one can look at that also. And also, of course, LIC at current levels looks good.
Okay, LIC and some of these insurance stocks on our radar. With that, let's move on to the next set of queries. Shrishti Kamble is writing to us from Mumbai, holds 50 shares of Grasim Industries at 700 and 20 shares of HCL Tech at 1000. She is a medium-term investor and wants to know the future prospects of the investments. Shahina, we are seeing IT make a comeback today. The top gainer today, it is lending a lot of support to Nifty. HCL Tech spoke about some demand headwinds earlier, not right now, but in a couple of quarters back. And we've been seeing IT pack generally not doing well. What's your take on HCL Tech? And also on Grasim, the big foray that they are making, the expansion that's happening in the group. How do you look at this one?
Well, as we've seen very recently in the last couple of days, tech is coming back into, I would say, investment of investors because the issues that were there with the US banking system and the impact it was on the growth in terms for IT stocks actually is now starting to that is no longer as aggressive that as it was earlier estimated and starting to look better. So I would believe that even HCL Tech can be held at the current levels, and one can look for the full upside to take to give you that best return that you can and continue holding. Also in terms of the expansion, they have recently got into a partnership with Google Cloud. So they are doing various things to diversify their business. So tech is a whole. Grasim on the hand, I think one can look to book profits. If you see the return ratios are pretty low. It's got a high debt. It's diversification into paints. All these things are actually going to keep, I think, the return ratios under, stress. And valuations, while not expensive at 16 times PE for current year FY23, the past year, I think it's likely to be a market performer. So I would prefer switching from Grasim.
Okay, switching from Grasim. Vaishali, what do you think about these names, Grasim and HCL Tech? And, if there's anything else within the same sector that you prefer, please take us through that as well.
So talking about HCL Tech first, I would say on a daily chart, we've already seen a good run up coming in. And now switching on to the weekly chart, I think it's gradually progressing and I would recommend a hold because I think in times to come, we can look at a target of 1215 to 1300 levels. But of course, I would say that the near-term stop loss should be at 1120. As far as Grasim is concerned, I would say that, there isn't any clarity. It's just consolidating. So I would say that let's keep a range of around 1650 because currently it's 1733. So below 1650, it would become weak. And it would show some promise above 1770. So either ways, let's wait for some time to see the clarity of the trend. And of course, in the IT pack, my favorite still is Persistent. Persistent has shown very good upward move, and right now it's consolidating. So it's a matter of time. I would say it's a buy at every decline. Say 4,500 should be the support level, but I would be looking at a projected target of 5,500 and so on. So Persistent is one of them, and Birlasoft is another one, which I still am bullish on, but we've seen a major run-up already come in, so I would not recommend a buy right now, but be watchful at lower levels.
Okay, all right. Point taken on that one, Vaishali. But let's go to the next one. Mosmi Das writes to us from West Bengal, holds 100 shares of Zydus Life Sciences at 554 rupees a share. She's a medium-term investor and wants to know whether to hold or sell. Vaishali, come on this one because she's sitting on good profits. Almost the number that I saw was around 1.94 lakhs. What is it? Since she's a medium-term investor, do you think she should book those profits?
Well, it's definitely in an overbought, but it doesn't call for any reversal right now. So I would say either book partial profit or keep a trailing stop loss of 540. Because if market continues to show some strength, I think the stock is ready for a target of 620. So I would say keep trailing stop loss or book partial profit and run for the next target.
Okay, got that. Shahina, what about you? Do you think Zydus looks good at these levels? I mean, she bought at 554, so already making some money on this one. But what is the kind of target that you have on this stock?
Well, if it's a short-term call, then one could hold with a stop loss of 565, in my view, with a target of 600. There's some positive news that has happened in the stock in the last couple of weeks, like the US FDA had examined December and given a nil observations. Also, the valuation, it is it's like 19 times one year forward. So one can hold Zydus because they have also got new products that are getting approvals. So all in all, I think one can continue to hold in the shorter term also.
Okay, all right. Ladies, we take that point and we'll continue this conversation. But for now, we'll slip into a quick break and answer more stock queries after this short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Your Stocks. We answer all your queries on the show. We still have with us our experts, Vaishali, Parekh and Shahina Mukadam. They'll answer all your stock queries. To the next query now. Let's talk about that one. Chandra writes to us from Bengaluru, holds 1400 shares of RVNL at 75.06 per share. He's a medium-term investor and wants to know whether to hold or sell. Shahina, let me come to you on this one because RVNL recently has been winning a lot of awards, has been in focus for a long time. We do have Chandra sitting with gains of around 67,000 in this much. Is all of it priced in, or do you think there are more legs to this one, Shahina?
Yeah, I think there are more legs to this one. So it would be ready to come.
Okay, looks like it's a very scratchy line, Shahina. We'll just connect that one once again. But Shahina did say that there looks like to be more rally or more legs to this rally on RVNL. Has been in focus, has been winning a lot of orders as well. Today it's lower in trade, but otherwise, according to Shahina, it is a fundamentally good bet. But what's your take, Vaishali, on this one? What would the near-term targets be?
I would say the trend is pretty much intact. It's just that it's under a consolidation. So right now, I would say that she should hold this stock because I think medium-term target comes to around 140. So that's quite a gain from here on. But at the same time, with a stop loss of 112. So I guess she should continue holding.
Okay, she should continue holding this one. Shahina, I hope the connection is better now, but you were taking us through your thoughts on RVNL. This is a stock which has already rallied about almost 80% this year, right? I mean, the entire railway pack has, I know. But what do you think is the call from here on, and would you recommend holding this?
I would recommend to continue to hold. As you were mentioning, a lot of new orders for the metro projects. You have orders in Mumbai, Chennai, Madhya Pradesh, and also, you know, their balance sheet is very strong. So they can easily execute these projects well. And I think margins, which have been improving, are likely to improve further with lower costs. So I would continue to hold. I think there is further upside.
Further upside is expected in RVNL, the stock already higher by 80%. Moving on to the next query now. Kunal Shah is writing to us from New Delhi. He holds 30 shares of NTPC at 150. He's a short-term investor and wants to know whether to hold or sell at current levels. Vaishali, let me come to you on this one. The buy price is 150 rupees per share on NTPC, sitting with minor gains on this one. What are the next levels on NTPC?
I think the stock has really run up, and next technical target comes at around just 192. So I think for once one should book profit and then wait for a next round of momentum, because already in an overbought and quite run up, so better to book profit near 190, 192.
Okay, let's also get in Shahina's call on this one. Shahina, is NTPC a hold for you at current levels?
Actually, I agree with Vaishali's levels. You know, one can look for a level of about 190, 195, keep a stop loss of 180. And then projects, that NTPC is talking about into green energy as well as, taking over some stress assets. But at the same time, if you take a very long term, you have to look at the stock for very long. It's really not given an investor decent returns. So I would take this opportunity to exit.
Okay, all right. So that's about NTPC investing in a lot of new energy areas, but we'll have to see what the execution would be like. Valuations continue to remain reasonable because, of course, it's the government-owned organization. Moving on to the next one, Anubhav Gandhi is writing to us from Ranchi. He holds 100 shares of Avanti Feeds bought at 320 rupees a share. He's a medium-term investor and wants to know if he should stay invested. Shahina, there was a lot of chatter around these feed companies. They did do well earlier, but lately we did see these margins getting compressed. Do you think there is going to be a comeback in the pricing of the raw materials and the products for these companies? What is the outlook on Avanti Feeds?
Well, shorter term, it looks like it can move up a bit, but I would take this opportunity to exit, and move away from this stock into some other FMCG stock.
So what else do you like in that basket? What would you recommend shifting to?
Well, if you're looking at, the broad basket of FMCG, my favorite remains ITC. I think there looks to be good upside. And for a small cap, I would look at something like a Vadilal Industries. I think there also the valuations are extremely attractive, and there is a good amount of growth that is coming in.
Okay, Vaishali, coming to you on Avanti Feeds, I mean, this year, the stock really hasn't done much. Even if you take a slightly wider perspective, doesn't seem to be too much action on the stock. What would you recommend? And, anything else that you like from this space?
Actually, technically, I would say it's just consolidating. There's no clear trend. In fact, say 400, 405 is a clear resistance level. So I would say let it move past 400, 405. That would be a confirmation of strength for a further up move. And yes, I agree with Shahina. I do like Vadilal as well. But my focus is also on insecticide right now that as I'm talking to you. And I like that stock as well because that has not participated in this rally. And I think there is scope of a lot of upside from here on.
Okay, all right. Vaishali and Shahina, thank you so much for joining us today. Those are the queries that we had to address today. So we'll speak to you very soon. Have a great weekend ahead. That's all we have on the show. But before we wind up, we get you something important. Menstruation is a natural process, but the lack of proper menstrual hygiene management facilities poses significant challenges with girls opting out of schools and women dropping out of the workforce. Here's our mission Swachhta or Paani, a joint initiative by News 18 Network and Reckitt, has been advocating for improved sanitation facilities so that menstruation is not a barrier to education and employment, but rather a natural process embraced with dignity and respect.
One out of 5 girls in India is forced to drop out of school or miss school due to the absence of something as basic as a clean toilet. And the story is not just restricted to young girls. The lack of clean toilets increases the risk of disease, abuse, and creates major challenges for menstruating women, often forcing them to opt out of the workforce. Thus, micro-level interventions are needed to make macro-level changes. Playing a significant role in improving menstrual health in India is Harpic, India's pioneer brand in lavatory care. With Mission Swachhta or Paani, News 18 and Harpic are driving advocacy for access to water, sanitation and clean toilets, especially in schools.
Reckitt has been supporting the India's, biggest, the menstrual health events, the campaigns in India. We just don't want to just talk about it. We want to actually make sure what we are promising is there. In some of the schools, the incinerators are fixed. In some schools, the sanitary napkin dispensing units have been placed. In certain schools, the curriculum has, the menstrual hygiene management.
One of Reckitt's long-term partners in the sanitation mission is PVR Nest, which has created pink centers. These are free-to-use, women-exclusive sanitation facilities across the national capital. Through partnerships with Gramalaya and initiatives like World Toilet College, Reckitt has been promoting menstrual hygiene management across the nation, striving for a future where women and girls are able to manage their menstruation with dignity.